We start with a new stage of resistance to the military coup in Myanmar. Security forces backed by armoured vehicles have clashed with a newly formed local militia group in Mandalay. The military government said soldiers were met with small arms fire and grenades when they raided a house. It said troops killed 4 people and arrested 8 others. This militia is known as the People's Defence Force, which opposes military rule. They said its members responded after the army raided one of its bases.
Well, now world powers are gathering in Berlin for a new push to secure a lasting peace deal in Libya. In these talks, which are led by Germany and the United States, leaders will be discussing their pledges to withdraw foreign fighters from the North African country. They also want to ensure the war-torn state stays on track toward its December general elections. Libya has been unstable since a NATO-backed uprising toppled longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. The oil-rich country was then divided between a UN-supported government in the capital and rival authorities based in the country's east before a transitional government took power earlier this year.
There's a lot happening.
President Joe Biden came to office promising changes in US policy toward Cuba. But months after he moved into the White House, sanctions remain in place and diplomacy is strained at best. The crippling effects of the US embargo recently led to the suspension of cash deposits in US dollars, a major source of income for ordinary Cubans. It's all a far cry from President Obama's historic visit in 2016, when relations were normalized, the US embassy reopened and travel to Cuba allowed. President Biden, it seems, is not following suit.
A Cuba policy shift or additional steps is currently not among the president's top foreign policy priorities, but it is an issue, of course, we will remain engaged in and focused on.
At least 3 people have been killed and 24 others injured in a major blast in Lahore. According to reports that are coming in, the blast took place near the residence of Hafiz Saeed in Lahore's Johar town. The administration is now looking at all possible angles. There were preliminary reports which suggested a gas pipeline explosion, but the police has not ruled out the possibility of a targeted attack, as the victims, besides serious burns, also show injuries due to ball bearings that most likely were used in the explosion. At least 8 of those who have been injured are in a critical condition. Hafiz Saeed, the dreaded terrorist wanted by India for the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks, was not at home at the time of the blast.
The US has opened a $500 million fund to compensate the relatives of 346 people killed in 2 fatal Boeing 737 MAX crashes in Ethiopia and Indonesia. That's according to claim administrators who spoke to Reuters. The fund, which opened on Monday, is part of a settlement with the US Justice Department. Boeing agreed in January to pay $500 million to compensate heirs, relatives and beneficiaries of the passengers who died in the Lion Air and Ethiopian Airlines flights. The administrators said in a joint statement that each eligible family member will receive nearly $1.45 million.
Around 140 rebels surrendered in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo this week. They are the first to do so since President Felix Tshisekedi announced martial law in the eastern Ituri and North Kivu provinces. Militia member Jean-Paul de Guige said their work had been to steal and disrupt the peace, but that they had left seeking a better life for their children. DRC's mineral-rich east has been fractured by conflict since the official end of the country's second civil war in 2003. More than 120 armed groups are now fighting for control of land and natural resources. The violence has surged over the past 2 years, prompting Tshisekedi to declare a state of siege in early May.
Brazilian authorities are on the hunt for a suspected serial killer. Lazaro Barbosa is accused of killing 4 people and taking more than 10 hostages in recent weeks. On Tuesday, police searched through the quiet town of Cocazinho de Guayas. Barbosa is believed to have passed through this farming region, about 200 miles west of the country's capital, Brasilia. Many of the residents have fled the area, with police reports of Barbosa shooting people, taking hostages, and setting a vehicle on fire. The manhunt has lasted more than a week, with nearly 300 officers deployed, 5 dogs, and search helicopters.